Hello, hello, my friends, and welcome to tonight's episode of The Strength of Thousands Adventure Path here on twitch.tv/tabletop rolls, home for all of your tabletop rolls needs.
Those specific needs,
Yes,
yes.
those very specific needs that are very specific. Friends, welcome to the epilogue episode of The Strength of Thousands Adventure Path.
Literal years, but we're finally here.
Literal years.
In game
Wild.
and out.
Yeah. We
But
made it.
before all that,
We fucking made it, team. But
we
before
did.
all that, announcements, other shows on the channel. Tomorrow night, Sprout stream. Final Fantasy 14, award-winning MMO, now with free trial, blah blah blah. Blue checkmark quests, Hildebrand, Matt, many things to go do. It's going to be a good time. Wednesday, Wild Ambition, Yippee Ki Yay, Hey Howdy Hey, they're on a train and nothing goes wrong on trains in my campaign. Then on Thursday, nothing. Go watch Sarah stream, I think, Date Everything? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Cool, cool. So yeah, go watch
Yep.
Sarah plays Date Everything. Friday, Astral Calling. Next arc starts. They're getting a little rest, a little vacation,
Or
a little staycation. It'll be nice, relaxing, and not at all traumatic. Then on Saturday, Tabletop Bros. This Saturday, the bros are back. The bros are back in town, doing the thing. Sunday, Cozy Co-op. Stardew Valley still until the update for Coral Island is out.
Ooh.
And then once the Coral Island update is out, then Coral Island. Will Sarah date a mermaid? Join us and find out.
That's even a question.
I mean,
Well, I date it. There's so many of the people that I want to romance in that game because there are just so many good options.
there are so many good options.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's all of them. That's all the shows on the channel. Monday night Strength of Thousands AP. For the last time for this adventure path, Matt Tuwu, can you do intros?
Oof.
Yes.
Haha.
Hello, everyone. I am Matt, or Urbanoff at various places on the internet, and it has been my great privilege to run these wonderful people through the Strength of Thousands adventure path. What I have said before in lightheartedness and jest, I say now in seriousness that this group of people I have begun to call the best and the brightest, both in and out of game. Though I imagine the people in game probably studied a lot more than we did. Maybe, I don't know. You might be very studious people. I don't know. I don't know what the kids do in school these days. But we're not here to talk about the age gap between me and most of the people I associate with on these channels. We're here to talk about the wonderful players that have gathered here today for the last episode of this particular campaign. More on that later. And we're going to start with the main man who started it all. Hold on, let me look on stream. No, it is. Yeah.
No,
I
it's
don't
the
know.
other way, Matthew.
Wherever Will is on stream, I can. Two screens are confusing me. Please introduce yourself, your character, and for your fun question for today, if you had to start the campaign all over again, what class would you play instead?
Hello, my name is Will, also known as Tabletop Rolls on the internet. Tonight I am playing Igara, Gama, and for the last time, I'm playing Igara, Gama, and Choco, our Gripply Summoner, his Eidolon, and his companion. And Tabletop Rolls on the internet. As for the answer to your question, Matt, it's actually very easy for me. 100%, I would love to do this campaign as an animist.
Ooh,
Yeah.
spicy.
It'd be fun, and it's wisdom based, so I could stack it with druid and not get fucked over. So it works out. Remember, kids, if you're doing Strength of Thousands AP, you want an Intelligence or Wisdom-based class. It's the most optimized choice, as it will allow you to make the most use out of your free archetype that you get.
Uh, and speaking of people who have been screwed over previously by a rather clunky class, we have McKenna of Oracle opinions.
Oh, I like the Oracle. That's my opinion on the Oracle. It's the
Pardon me,
witch
it's the
that
witch,
I've got
yeah.
beef with. Hi everyone. I'm McKenna Ray-Tynan playing Avi, our Nyctera witch, and her familiar Agate. If I were to redo Avi as a different class,
I'm not even saying Avi, just if you taking what you know of the campaign, maybe, um, or just what you have experienced with the class you're playing, if you had to sort of like travel back in time with the idea, don't play the same this class I played already, what would you prefer to play for this campaign?
well, I would still want to stick with my character, but I might go sorcerer.
Oh.
I just think spontaneous casting is a superior, at least for adventure paths like these where you will repeatedly encounter monsters that are immune to all but one of your spells, and then you can only cast that spell once, and then you're done for the rest. That was really frustrating at the beginning of the campaign, and if I could save myself that frustration, I think I would, and just have the patron be like a part of the backstory.
Fair enough. And speaking of people who've had to deal with monsters being immune to damage types they primarily do, we have Sarah. Please introduce yourself, your character, your lovely little fur baby you got there, and the answer to the fun question.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Margaret, also known as Cosmic Deity 746 on Twitch. This is Ayako. Ayako would like to go down now.
Ayako.
Kayako
Bayako.
Bayako. That's the joke. And I'm playing Charlotte, the Anadi toxicologist, finally at the stage of knowing what to do at level 20 with an alchemist. Yay!
Slay.
Specifically the toxicologist based one. Yay! I honestly, my bout with Pathfinder is so I've currently have played an alchemist, and what am I playing right now, McKenna?
Inventor, I think.
I think it's the inventor. So I really literally went from, hey, you're very much reliant on being able to craft things, to, hey, you're also very much reliant on being able to craft things, specifically craft things that can kill.
You literally picked the two hardest classes to like optimize and tinker with in the game as your first two things, and I'm like, Sarah, respect. Maximum respect.
You're
I
telling
have to
me the
say,
two classes that you tinker in are the hardest to tinker?
correct. Yeah. No, I mean, the thing is that I recently had to respec Inventor because prior to the way our campaign group shifted around, I was playing an inventor that had just like an outward construct, basically, just, you know, a little orb, essentially. But now I have respected it as far as I can. Obviously, I had some help with like PJ. But I created that into, it's now a construct that it's a wearable armor construct. So instead of being outward from the thing that's going to cause damage, I am now fully engrossed in the thing that is causing damage, because that's going to give us better tank advantages, which Who knows if I shall survive or not? Hard to say.
Who knows what the dice may hold? And last but not least, our master of the +1, the +2, and the +3 bonuses that come in clutch so many times, we have our dear Sozy Pose. Please introduce yourself and your character.
Hi, everybody. I'm Zoe. I go by Zozy Pose on the internet, and I'm playing for the last time Ophelia, who I used to introduce as our Whisper Elf Bard, but who was really 3 pixies in a trench coat the whole time. Yippee!
Yippee.
I couldn't see myself playing anything other than Bard, like as having the most fun in this AP. But I think just like kind of looking down the line, it might be fun to play a character who's like an entomologist in this specific campaign because there's so many bugs. So like maybe like an investigator who has like a big book of bugs and either like pulls a page from Coriday's book and like kind of collects some of them and is not really supposed to, but
Or like a very centralized druid where it's like I only speak to bugs.
yes. Yeah.
That's it.
Although all the bugs in this campaign would probably be like F you, essentially.
Yeah.
They are rather violent, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, they were sort of brought into the sway by like almost like a malevolent deity almost. But I would have loved to have seen someone at the end of the campaign just like ride into battle on a giant rhinoceros beetle.
Ooh, very
I
cool.
could do it. I could do it.
There are good bugs and bad bugs, you guys.
Not all bugs.
Not all bugs.
Not all bugs.
But thus ends our character introductions. So we're just gonna dive right into this slightly different episode after we head to a brief ad and then our intro, which probably should have done a little thing where I made just a less spooky intro for this last one, but you know, whatever.
It is.
contradicting yourself over about, putting yourself out there and trying
You are
something
muted,
new.
dear. Not you, McKenna. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Oh, I actually have a thing to read. After a long and arduous journey, conquering deadly challenges and walking through the pages of a friend's life, you have finally reached the end of this quest. Kiyomi, the friend formerly known as Kiara, has finally given up their misguided quest to rewrite all the stories in the world. Through a combination of magical prowess and tireless empathy, you have convinced her that regardless of origin, of past action and guilt, that one's fate, one's purpose in the world, is something everyone has to discover on their own. But equally important, you don't have to go it alone. She has she has released her feverish grip on the magics she had unleashed, and with a final relinquishing of her remaining divine power, writes what she wrenched apart. Sometime later, you have returned to the Magambia, a convalescing and penitent Kiyomi in tow. So let me ask all of you, when the higher-ups at the school ask, what would you say happened, and what would your recommendation be for what comes next? We can go around the group, or if anyone wants to jump in.
Ooh.
Oof.
She was all of our friends. Okay.
Igra literally hitting us with a, okay, lady, it's your baby.
Wow.
This is your prerogative.
You probably wouldn't be the only person at Magambia righting some wrongs. At least I think you were able to put everything back to the way it was before. So unlike Corday, it's sort of a no harm situation.
I'm not going to say Corday's catching stray L's, so to speak, but
Corday flying.
Corday
Just a little
deserves it.
Like little bats flying in the air. Poof.
the pipeline to Corday is still going strong of finger wagging.
She really beefed it big time.
She did beef.
She did. She beefed it.
She fell on a huge L.
The whole cow at that point.
A5 Wagyu certified.
Yeah.
Beefed it.
Well seasoned.
I would say that the events in which took place with the aspect of the tree and the stories and this particular individual were the penultimate of a story that was long being written even before any of us could have done anything to change it. And the fact that we are all here and that in tow we have one who is penitent and true harm has been rewritten, if you will. I feel as if there is some leniency for understanding and for growth. I mean, what is this if not a school to learn from mistakes?
That if you offered to do some community service as the school nurse, they'd probably take you up on it.
Oh
Also,
wow, someone plucked the low-hanging fruit that I've been dangling above all your heads for all this time.
Also apologize
right
to
there.
Shazare.
Ooh, that's gonna be an awkward conversation.
I mean,
Can't
honestly,
wait to see
Avi,
Matthew do both sides at once.
Avi, I was going to offer that to Endures in Darkness. Maybe
I mean, here's the thing. This school's a hot mess. We can use 2. It's okay.
You know, a doctor and a nurse, both are actually doctors less prevalent than the nurse, honestly, when you really
I'm
think that the nurse knows more than a doctor.
2 nurses is great.
2
I'm
nurses is
suddenly
great.
picturing Endures in Darkness in like a candy striper outfit.
Hello, Enders.
He'd work it.
Wait.
Anywho,
That was good. That was funny. I'll put a pun in chat.
Um, but yeah, in terms of sort of Kiyomi's epilogue, she probably at some point does have a kind of private, probably sit and have some tea with Shizere, and they kind of hash things out. They ultimately decide they're better just off as friends. Um, but things seem to go well. There's no shouting and there's no sudden dramatic hooking up again or anything. Thankfully, none of that. They both have some self-respect.
Good for
Um,
them.
and
Rare.
Shizere does encourage Kiyomi to. It takes a little while for the school to trust her in any sort of um, important position, especially one to deal with students' health. But eventually, she does sort of like slide into the school nurse position, and Endures does also kind of contribute with that. Does become the nurse, and eventually, once he graduates to the lore speaker position, I imagine he stays on as a second doctor. It's a big campus, and Kiyomi might want a day off at some point. Um, but I'm going to
Students
say
keep getting into trouble, so
Work-life balance.
There's no days off in healthcare.
I'm gonna
that's valid.
at this point, I do have potentially some epilogue things for all of you, which is both me presenting some ideas but also asking questions. But if anyone has anything they want to say before I potentially make their things weirdly non-canon somehow, which I can then modify after hearing your things, I open the floor to anyone who has anything they want to say about what their character might do next in coming days, coming weeks, coming years. If they go live in a log cabin and never speak to anyone again.
Looking at you, Igura.
Don't know what y'all are talking about. Igura does have plans.
Well, now is the perfect time.
Ooh, what are they?
So-
Alright, the floor is yours.
Over the course of the next year, Igura, a little bit, probably less than a year, probably like about 10 months. Igura is basically getting as many things like repaired and in sort of like working order again at the school as he can. He is just working hard. And then at the end of those 10 months, one day, he just disappears.
Ooh.
Okay,
With
creature.
with like a just like a little note that he left to you all saying, "Hey, I'm going off on a bit of a journey. I'll be back in a little while. If I'm not back in like 3 months, go talk to Shizere."
You get a sending from Avi Avi immediately, being like, Igor, do you remember what happened the last time one of our friends disappeared? Do you remember? Do you remember how that ended?
I just replied to something. I left a note. I will be okay. It's all good. I'm just taking some me time.
You get a
Um,
sending back the next day that just says, mm-hmm.
So a sabbatical.
Yes, a sabbatical. But those 3 months pass, and then eventually, you all receive, Charlotte. You get a little note, a little envelope that has this like strange sort of like, strange sort of bulge in it. Avi, you get a envelope on top of a parcel, and Ophelia gets an envelope that has the word Ophelia, Ophelia scratched out as if Igura couldn't figure out what to do for it. After
Fair.
those 3 months, as Igura has found themselves no longer on Galarian after returning to the Gate of the Red Star for the next time it would open and walking through it alone after breaking their pact with Gamma.
Ooh.
and letting Gamma do his thing in the Feywild and be free.
Be free, Gamma, be free.
It's like, imagine a Bye Bye Butterfree,
Oh no! Don't invoke that.
but with
Oh.
Gamma and Ygritte on the cliff, and then Gamma just like poofs out of existence.
I don't
Ygritte is
remember
just
much.
like,
I have a really important question for you, Will.
yes.
You've released Gamma out into the Feywild, and I'm assuming Gamatatsu as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Choco?
Well, it's funny you should say that, Avi, because I'm going to now make visible to the three of you the notes that Ygritte left you.
Slay.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
He has killed and eaten Choco.
So there's Avi's, and if y'all, I leave you, if you want to share them with the chat, you can. If you don't, now these aren't shy wedding tier notes, but they're up there.
Happening. Where?
They should be in your journals now.
Oh.
So I leave that to all of you. Ygritte does not have any money or possessions left on him, other than the gun that he bought. She still hasn't successfully fired.
You and your gun.
He's gonna become the sharp-shooting toad of Galarian eventually.
Well, not even Galeria.
Yeah.
Oh. It's very cute. I think Charlotte, and I will say this, is Charlotte gets it in the midst of, like, at the end of a class where students are filing out, and Charlotte has been, for the last couple months, Charlotte has been doing whatever the Charlotte stuff has been doing, obviously, on the side, but gets this with the strange shape inside of it, thinks, oh no, what is this? Opens it, and out tumbles a 30-sided cut gemstone, which she didn't think was legitimately possible, but that's impressive. And the note, which says, Dear Charlotte, though I have not known you as long as I would like, in that short time you've become a treasured colleague and friend. I hope the remainder of your life is filled with happiness and good company, whatever company you may keep. With kind regards, Ygritte. And she goes,
Well, that's all.
oh, I hope he's happy. And then sits there and goes, what do you mean whatever company you may keep?
That's probably when Avi pokes her head into your room.
Did you also get a note from Ygritte?
Yes!
Was it
He insulted my girlfriend again!
Yes, okay, this is what mine says. It's sweet, but it says, Dear Avi, thank you for being at my side these last few years. I am truly thankful that you have been at my side all this time. Your knowledge is spelled wrong, by the way.
I choose to
several
believe.
in mine.
I choose to believe that's intentional.
I did get Colgi, happiness, and compne, but that's okay. He spelled it good compne, whatever company.
There are several in mine, but knowledge being spelled incorrectly was my favorite.
It was, for me, it was the company, whatever company. So he spelled company and then spelled company
Thanks,
correctly.
guys. I love y'all for that.
I wouldn't have pointed out if it wasn't literally the word knowledge. Are unparalleled, and the school and Galarian are in good hands with you helping shape its future. May many years ahead of you be well lived and happy, which is very sweet. But P.S. By the time you'll be reading this, I will no longer be on Galarian. I don't know what that means. Choco is yours, and I left money for food and his barding in his box.
It's like literally all of Ygritte's gold minus the 300 gold to get the 30 cut gemstone.
Oh, Jesus.
At least he didn't send you uncut jams.
The cut. That's nice.
I just love, thank you for for being at my side these last few years. I'm truly thankful that you have been
And
at
on
my
my
side.
side. I was like, what would Eager say here? Oh, this is what they would
It's
say.
it's all decidedly Igora coded,
It's
if we're
so
being
Igora
totally
coded.
honest.
And it's so the poison for Cusco.
Um,
Cusco
I
is
still
poison.
have an
Of
8.
course.
Y'all, this character still has an 8 in intelligence.
Yeah.
You played it perfectly.
I'm gonna go see if Choco's okay.
And
Yeah, maybe we can have him help out with some of the bestiary stuff. He seems to be relatively good at that.
I just know that he loved Igor a lot, so I hope he's okay with being left in my care.
I mean, if anybody's gonna care for Choco enough, that would be you.
Well, yes.
Choco, immediately it's like, just like, it's fine. He'll be back when he realizes he needs money for food over there, so.
No vote of confidence from Choco.
It's
Well, I don't know
it's
if-
not a complaint, but you know.
I don't know if I would be in Choco's position. I don't know that I would be feeling particularly generous. To Igor, poor Choco.
Choco was
But
meant to
it's-
be a trap, Roomba.
I was gonna say it's probably for his own best.
Oh, Avi kind of pats you with a wing the size of your body.
Yeah.
Nothing
Thanks,
lasts
thanks.
forever, not even relationships.
Well, no, but you're still allowed to feel sad about it.
Maybe I will
True.
later. But right now I'm gonna go eat some birdseed.
Understandable. Enjoy your birdseed.
Though at this point, Choco is probably even more of a meat eater, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
They eat those gisho greens.
Mm-hmm.
Is that guy show?
Ophelia, are you willing to share, or are you keeping that one close to the chest?
I think Ophelia would probably get it as she is doing an intensive with some students. She's been also holding a lot of auditions lately.
Yeah, let's go.
For backup dancers and performers of all kinds, different sorts of
Going
acts.
on tour.
Throwback, maybe Benji would be one of the acts that would be able to be in the world tour that she is currently pulling together.
Yes.
But yeah, as she is getting ready for that, I think she would receive this note. And I'm sure she would pop over at some point to Avi and Charlotte. Maybe you guys are both at the tree stump library, and she would pop over and show you the letter. Just kind of show it to you and let you read it yourself. It says, "Dear Ophelia, this has been the hardest note to write for me. I truly treasure the time we had together. Even though I did not truly get to know you until recently, you were a staunch ally during my time here. I know you will be able to achieve your dream, and I look forward to hearing all of your performances and adventures. May the years ahead of you be filled with friends, family, songs, and capital J joy. Best,
Aw.
Igora." Oh,
Very sweet and very sweet Will.
I
Just
suppose.
disappear.
It is.
I mean, there's an adventure, and Igora's not one to stay idle too long, I feel. He feels like a wandering
Yeah,
wandering Gripply to me.
can't be an idol with something pun about idol on.
Oddly enough, Igora would later join the Starfinder Society as an envoy, which is the space bard.
I buy it. I buy it. I buy it.
Well,
What is his act?
It's less of an act and just more of a use of presence.
the envoy is an interesting class in a way.
Interesting.
We'll get into that more if we ever do Starfinder. Does anyone else have any kind of self epilogue they want to say, or Do you want me
Ooh.
to?
Matt, I need to, before we get anywhere into where the direction I think you may or may not be going to, I need to solve that goddamn puzzle necklace.
So I'm going to ask you for possibly the only roll tonight, potentially. Feel free to give me a crafting check.
Watch this be the one time I fail at crafting.
Yeah, then you have a hero point. Also, you rolled a 52.
I
So-
rolled a 52.
Oh yeah.
All I'm going to say is, for this particular bit, you immediately look at this thing, and thus you are not surprised when the next time you happen to meet up with Mercedes, and you sort of like offhandedly mention that you haven't solved the puzzle necklace yet. She doesn't look surprised and says, "Oh, I knew it was going to be challenging. Do And she kind of like gets a little pinkish red in the face, kind of can't meet your gaze. Do you maybe want to come over to my place and we can work on it together?"
Ooh.
And you, knowing that the thing was made so it couldn't really be solved, and knowing that this was her plan all along,
Respond with, God, yes.
God dang.
yeah, and you spend a lovely evening just doing like silly puzzle things in like your pajamas and stuff. In Mercedes has her own place now, and it's actually bigger than it appears, but she has covered every wall with like bookshelves and stuff, so it actually is smaller on the inside than it should be because the bookshelves are taking up a lot of floor space. Um,
Ooh, delightful.
yeah, she thinks she is going to take time off from being any sort of like adventure or anything, and is going to sort of get into like the rare book trade. She's gonna
Ooh.
she has a lot of like, ironically, she still actually has a lot of like connections with um like magic shops and the like, though they all keep assuming that she is other Mercedes' like younger sister. um
Mm.
but she's doing a lot of wheeling dealing for like magic tomes and stuff, and magic skulls that talk and tell ancient legends and things. um None of it's like super useful magic items. Like none of them are like wands or enchanted swords or anything. But
No, but a good old book that somebody's like, I've always wanted the first edition of that volume, and I
Yeah.
ended up getting there. I feel like, you know, progressively, how it would go is, puzzle dates, coffee dates, the casual, like, let's go wander in an old ancient tomb every now and then just to have like fun. But obviously, with it's very exhausting. I don't think Charlotte puts too much into the let's go archaeology. Um, but Charlotte has periods in which she goes on like excursions where she has to go and do some studying. That's just because that's just how she is. She likes to go find some older stuff, dark stuff, hence, how we met. Um, but I think at that point in time in the relationship, it is excelled to like, are we girlfriends? I suppose we are girlfriends. That would be nice. Um, multiple, like three, three of these. Just imagine three going, are we girlfriends? Yes, I suppose we are girlfriends. Um, and all that entails after the fact of that one, obviously. Uh, but it's going really well. So I think when Charlotte goes on the excursions, while she still keeps in mind some of the stuff that interests her, more of the occultism, darker stuff, if there's a rare book that comes up, like that's her first priority is always to acquire items, bring them back and hand them to Mercedes as like, I found this while I was doing this in this old ancient catacomb, and I think you may find it useful. And then on the other half, she continues to teach in her tenure. Um, Still blowing up sections of the school of course, because that's, you know, what is
Someone has
what
to.
is trial and error if not explosions? But also a lot of like getting back into the teaching, which I think Charlotte missed all the years doing. So
Thanks to you, Kiyomi really learns to how to deal with tinnitus, just from, lots of booms near the ears. I'm going to segue right into the bit I've written for your epilogue here because it works out well.
go on.
So, in amongst your various research projects at the school and your archaeological digs, you actually begin to find references in some old books and some old ruins towards something that you never really imagined could exist, something called the Philosopher King's Stone. Because you've heard of Philosopher Stones, it's a level 20 item in Pathfinder, but this is the Philosopher King's Stone. And it takes a long while, like a couple years potentially, but after long hours of researching, dungeon delves, you piece together information that seems to indicate that the stone would be capable of things just far beyond a normal philosopher's stone. Rather than simply healing and transmuting things to gold, the stone would potentially allow the wielder, at will, to transmute any matter into different kinds of matter. This would be like the apex of alchemical power because it's not doing it like through traditional like spells and casting and stuff and spell slots. It's just the ultimate creation of an item through alchemy that bestows power upon its creator or the person who wields it. And this is sort of the end all project that you've sort of like one day dreamed of pursuing. And you don't know it, but just as you're about to head out on a particular adventure that might take quite a while, and you talk to Mercedes, who you've been probably seeing very, very seriously, probably for a couple of years now. She hears about you going on this potentially long expedition, and she makes a deal with a rare kind of collector that she knows, not for a book this time, but for a ring. And she hurries off probably to have a talk with you about something before you head out on your trip. Moving on.
Ah, cagey, cagey.
We don't get to know if Charlotte says yes.
I mean, that's up to Charlotte.
I know.
I mean, it's only been a couple years.
That's plenty.
Okay. Sometimes when you know, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, you've been to like the beach with her, and she unfortunately wears like old-timey swimsuits that are like the long one piece with like the built-in shorts and it's like stripes.
Unfortunately, that's adorable.
So
Are you kidding? All right. Here it is. And Avi gets this because Mercedes sprung it on Charlotte, and therefore Mercedes and Ophelia get all of the details after because Charlotte immediately just like rings both of them, sends a message out to Ophelia on tour, just like has to get that information out there. And just said, and it's just like, this was a situation where Mercedes very nervously, well, almost literally dropping it in the sand while on the beach, while there was a nice vacation enjoying it. Charlotte was trying to create glass with lightning in the sand because that's just fun to do as a thing. Presents this beautiful ring, absolutely gorgeous, and stutters through a proposal. And Charlotte just like stops and stares at Mercedes and goes, I have wanted to say yes since I saw you in a cozy.
Aww.
And like, I feel like she just goes, wait, what? Because she doesn't remember that. But still, it's like,
I've wanted to marry you since longer than you can remember. There's something very sweet about that.
In every universe.
Very cute.
universe. And immediately like sends a missive all the way about to Avi Avi while they're on vacation. Like, I'm gonna go on a long trip, but like, guess what happened? So when I come back, eventually I'll actually officially get married. But right now, just engaged.
I think it's because it's mental. You technically can hear it, but you know in your mind's ear that if it was in person, it would be too high pitch of a squeak for Charlotte to actually hear. But you just hear Avi Avi being like,
Some dogs go running by.
Benji in the distance goes, ow, ow, ow.
Igara, somewhere on a distant plane, as you're camping out in the night in the giant skeleton of some alien beast, a little male drone drops off a little like a silicon letter printout or something.
You're invited to the wedding
Save the date.
Save the date.
It's like, all right,
one of the
well,
wedding colors.
Oh,
they
oh,
got it.
no.
They got it back to me in time that I could just jump back onto this through the Stargate. So
I was about to say, if it's been that long, Ophelia might be able to hand deliver that for part of her tour. So
Ooh.
I just had a thought. If we ever have the desire, we could do a one shot of the wedding and the
one-shot.
crazy things that happen at the wedding.
Yes.
shenanigans.
We love a good wedding shenanigan.
Oh, though now I have an urge to like commission Mercedes in a wedding dress. Anyway,
to the urge, Matthew.
speaking of the world tour, I do want to segue into something because this sort of works out in an interesting way. Ophelia, as you are sort of like putting out the initial feelers for this big world tour, a group of senior lore speakers approach you with a proposal. They don't want to step on any toes or interfere with your plans, but prior to them hearing about your idea of going on a world tour, they had a proposal they wanted to bring you. They wanted you to be the goodwill ambassador for the Magambia on a trip across Galarian. They wanted you to essentially go to various cities and various educational institutions and use your magnetic personality and great charisma to strengthen bonds between these far-flung locations and the Magambia. And it might extend your stay in certain locations, but they wanted to know if you would be willing to take on this responsibility. They do feel that you are probably one of the best faces of the Magambia, so to speak.
And what's in it for me?
Just
kidding. I'd be honored.
To be fair, you'd probably get like some like big certificates, like a big portrait on the wall. You're already a magic warrior. It's kind of hard to top that, but you'd get an additional title. You'd probably get resources from the Magambia. They'd probably be able to like provide you with like magical transportation. They're working on that big new flying magic boat that you guys helped test drive. So
Right, that would be a great tour boat.
all right, where are we dropping?
To be fair, the world tour is a little bit of a cover for her trying to find alternate ways to permanently split.
Oh, that
safely. But I think she's a good multitasker. So all three things: a tour, ambassador, and little magical mayhaps.
Well, I'm going to say, if that is your intent, and combined with visiting all these other educational institutions and your friends and resources at the Magambia, I would say it wouldn't take particularly long for you to find probably a way if that is what you want to do.
I think after maybe an initial tour, she would be thinking like kind of peaked as Ophelia, and I want something new.
I want a solo career.
or a trio like K-pop Demon Hunters career.
I was just about to be like, every year you need a group of 3.
In every generation, a group of 3 is chosen. I have so many questions about that in a way. I don't know why, but I want to dig into the mechanics of the world of K-pop.
I
Demon
truly
Hunters.
wish it had been a TV series and not a movie.
There are so many little interesting
Yeah.
plot questions that are not answered that could be explored
Where is
in
the
a TV
cat from?
series.
What?
Oh, they have an answer for that. The cat and the bird are not actually demons. They are spirits. They live in the Hanmoon.
Okay, but why are they there? And why are
They're-
they
For
man?
fun.
Because they like Genu. They
Merchandising.
latched on to him.
And they
They're
don't
also-
explain it.
They're support animals, actually.
He's a
Merchandising.
princess. So he's a princess. That's what you're saying.
I did.
Genu
I
is a
did.
princess. We all know.
I
does
did
sing.
fully buy a little sticker of that little bird because they are my favorite thing in that movie.
Really
This is-
cute. They're really cute.
I want
Its
a plushie.
canon name is Sussy.
So it's Bok.
It's
Sussy Bok?
sussy. It's sussy and derpy, and I love that movie even more,
Derpy?
and it needs to be continued. Derpy is the cat's official name. Is
Derpy.
Derpy.
That's awesome. I love it.
It is. They confirmed it. I love it. Anyway, regardless, Ophelia's.
Yeah,
I
Ophelia's
will
creating her own honeymoon.
I would say though,
Aw.
Ophelia, there is one unexpected side effect upon the separation, though, which is a path to further adventures. So splitting a level 20 character into 3 means each of your individual parts are only 6th level.
Ew.
6.
Well, I had to round down, sort of like.
Scrub again?
I mean, you were getting the levels all together, so everyone got an equal amount of the levels.
So what you can do, you can get
milestone.
Avi Avi. You can get Avi Avi to go to the forest with you and kill a bunch of boars while in your party, and the XP share.
And I can ride on somebody's back
Yeah.
because I'm too
Well, not
slow.
mine.
Well, I'm just saying.
So I think
Here's
if that's how it goes down, she takes a break, a very long break away from everybody, and goes and levels up a little bit.
I would
Kill
just
some
like to
boars.
say, here's the thing though. If you do want to be like K-pop Demon Hunters, they're obviously Bard multi-classes, and being at level 6, you now have a chance to take a dedication in a different class.
Ooh.
Also, I'm seeing a potential one shot with Yumi and McKenna, in which we are one of each, and we get to play as Bard multi-classes for our one shot.
Cute.
Just
Yes.
That's all right. Add it to the list.
Well, I will
question
play Choco.
for- I have a question for Ophelia / Fifi / Briar Rose / what was it? Blackberry?
Yeah, or Blackthorn, I think
Yeah.
maybe something like that.
Whatever is done with Ophelia's removed heart?
Oh, so she got rid of it because she was annoyed. She was annoyed at Briar's just love for everything, and part of the reason that she was killed was because of romantic attraction, and she didn't. It kind of was everything to her, and she ignored a lot of things, including the world around her in general, and that's what led to her accident. So Ophelia had had enough of it being inside of her, and that's why she cut it out. And once they've kind of come to terms with each other again, she puts
you
it
can
back.
have it back.
Where it came from her, so help me.
You only get your heart back when you learn to freaking control it, okay?
When you learn to use it responsibly. Here, hold on, I
Responsibly.
have a strawberry. When you learn to use this responsibly, you can have it back.
I'm also
That oh my god, I headcanon that is what that strawberry is. It's actually just the physical embodiment of Briar's heart.
Oh my
Here, I
god.
have a little one. I have a little pixie sized.
also for added silliness, one day when Mercedes is getting dressed at Charlotte's place and getting up in the morning, she calls from the other room, "Hey, sweetie, what's this thing in your drawer? And they're holding the heart.
Oh no.
Experiment.
Yeah, okay.
I just take that and I put it in a little box and I ship it out to wherever Ophelia's last location was. Just
Like,
like, here, you
man, I
can
was
have
doing-
this
I was doing so well without it.
back.
Ah,
I mean, you can keep it on the wall for all I can. Or get
Mount
it
it.
out of our shared drawers.
Speaking of the world at large, Avi Avi. So one day, an indeterminate amount of time after the events of the campaign, you are working in the library, and you were approached from by a visitor to the school who has come all the way from Lastwall. Um, they have a proposal they wanted to share with you in hopes that you will take it to the kind of administration of the Megambia. It's a big project, but long story short, they want to form a group of both casters and librarians from across Galarian for a rather momentous project. They want to create a extraplanar library connected by a series of magic doors locked with special keys um, that will be distributed and accessible from highly uh, highly responsible educational institutions across Galeria. Um, the world is growing more dangerous in certain parts of the world, and there are growing concerns among some people that certain knowledge could potentially be lost forever if there is sudden violence. I don't know, if nations like Chiliacs or something get especially aggressive or something, and they want to ensure that this knowledge is protected for future generations by secreting it away in places that are just plain inaccessible to anyone who doesn't have the knowledge or the special equipment to access it.
spoilers,
Cas-
Matthew.
Castles can be stormed. Um, strongholds can be destroyed. But if you literally don't have the key to an extraplanar library, you can't get at it and you can't burn the books.
Oh, I mean, this would be a difficult endeavor because I think realistically we'd have to copy all of that information because we wouldn't just want to take books out of libraries
Well,
and hide them away.
this is one of the reasons they're coming to you. As part of the process, a determination needs to be made about what books could potentially, stand to be removed from existing libraries. Because they're not saying we want to just empty all physical libraries and move it all into the extraplanar place. That's both impractical and potentially also dangerous because they're aware, something still could potentially go wrong. But this is going to be a long, very like years, decades long process potentially of building up and I'm not saying staffing in my head, but stocking this library. And they
Both
want
stocking and staffing.
and that's why they're coming to you, because they think you have these very specific combination of both library related skills and great magical prowess.
I do have both of those things. You know what? Let me get back to you. I will think on this.
Yeah.
And I think she would probably contact her patron.
All right, here in the last episode. So you sat down to commune with your patron. And for the first time ever, when you commune with your patron, the landscape is not sort of like a featureless kind of white or black or just kind of neutral void. You find yourself in a very unfamiliar setting for kind of a, tree dwelling and city dwelling Nictaran as yourself. You find yourself floating underwater. And you don't see your patron so much, but you are aware of a great shape moving gracefully in the water around you. And Agate is there, gently just kind of floating on their back, apparently freed of having to do a lion's share of work in this particular commune, and it's just like, mer.
Here, let me grab my agate for one last
Cameo?
last cameo. Come here, baby girl. Hello.
Like my
Oh,
general
Missy
caricature, swimming in space, just idly,
Yeah.
listlessly along.
Are you swimming in space idly, my love?
And what do you seek in this commune, I must say, Avi Avi?
Hello, old friend. I seek your wisdom regarding some new developments in the sharing of knowledge. I'm a little concerned about this new way of storage, and I'm concerned about hiding information away. I'm worried it'll be used as a way to keep information from people and gatekeep it as opposed to share it and preserve it. I would appreciate your insight.
There is a pause, and this great shape, which you sort of perceive as almost having like limbs and flowing, like a sort of a torso with long, big flowing hair and like limbs like a person, but also like the bottom half of a great fin or something, um, kind of leans forward and seems to like, you don't feel a physical contact, but almost seems to mime giving you a little kiss on the forehead, like an affectionate thing, and a bubble, not a stone for this time, a bubble floats up in front of you, and you just see a rune that you immediately recognize. It just says trust. And you feel it's towards you. You feel a lack of ambiguity in this moment, in that they trust you. After everything that you've been through, and they're happy to impart wisdom, and this moment they feel the best wisdom they can offer is to trust yourself.
Okay.
But you also see, just off to the corner, two bubbles rise up, sort of one sooner than the other, implying sort of an order to it. You see one that is sort of a symbol representing union, and the other one is a protective kind of symbol, a ward.
Okay. I understand. I know what I need to do. Thank you.
And then you get treated to a bunch of undersea animals, like playing musical instruments and stuff.
La, 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 la. Oh, I wish Ophelia could see this. She'd think this is so sick.
Let's see. Yeah, and yeah, that is sort of the epilogues that I had planned for you all. I Will took a bit of a turn with it, so I don't really have any adventures loaded for Will. There are many adventures that happen on their travels, but
That's okay. I still have a couple.
oh,
I
please
had
go
a
ahead.
very specific plan.
Well, not so much like a specific plan, but
Just loose
Lord.
ends that need tying up just a little bit.
yeah, I think
Me too.
Well,
I
I
have
f-
one, I think.
yeah. Well, first of all, I think Avi Avi would rope Kiyomi into these like knowledge plans with all of her experience in, you know, data entry, for lack of a better phrasing. But I think before that, she has so many questions for Kiyomi about like what was going on and like little loose ends. I think the biggest one is like, do you remember anything from the
So,
before times?
laying it all out, all cards on the table, Kiyomi does remember everything. She went through everything that you saw in her kind of her memories. She was just a fox in Tian, and she was plucked from nothingness to essentially just be the underling of a god's underling, um, who then eventually she resented enough and built up the courage enough to force them to let her go. She tried to live just out in the world for a time, just unfortunately, due to whatever spark of divinity was in her, things just sort of kept not working out in the way she wanted. Um, Eventually, she decided, I just need to get rid of this divine part of myself. So she sought for some way of doing that. She found the knife. She used the knife. The divine part of her became its own sort of entity and kind of went off into the world. And for a time, she assumed the name Kiara. She went to the Megambia. She tried to live her life. There was always some nagging doubts, though, that always plagued her or something. She tried to cover it up with a very kind of exuberant and outgoing personality. Um, but then one day, the divine part of herself found her and came back to her. And she kind of realized that she felt it was irresponsible of her to just send it out into the world like that. And she realized, all right, I can't abandon this part of myself, and if I'm going to re-embrace it, I should do something with it. And she somehow got it into her head that it was her job to fix the world. She wanted to make everything better for everyone. If she was going to have to be a divine thing, well, hell, she was going to be a divine thing. Um, and she kept compromising her beliefs and stuff to try and make that goal happen. You saw all the things the cult of the illuminated tree was getting involved in. Um, and then you guys sort of like, when she thought she had sort of put a final pin in everything, you guys showed up and showed her, no, being a self-appointed martyr is not the solution. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
I think Avi, first of all, she's like, well, first of all, I feel like I should apologize because when I don't know if you remember when I first came to Magambia and we first met, it felt like you knew me and I didn't know you at all. But from your perspective, I must have, and it must have been strange and upsetting for you to have run into me and for me to act like I had no knowledge of you. I know time is a weird soup sometimes, but
Time is a weird soup sometimes.
I'm sorry that I must have
Wobbly.
hurt your feelings.
Timey wimey.
I'm curious though. At one point, you were working with Stone Ghost. Why?
I knew them when they were a student at the school before they became Stone Ghost.
Okay.
I felt, I don't know, I, I had a lot of bad feelings about that because I felt like what happened with them was sort of, I felt I could have been a better friend. I should have been more attentive to the kind of, they were kind of going down a dark path, and I should have caught it. I should have. Oh, and she's like, "Am I taking responsibility for things that aren't my fault again? I'm not sure. Um, I don't know."
Maybe a little. Maybe a little. He seemed very troubled.
They were.
So I understand now more than ever your motivation to step in and help him. I'm sorry that that ended the way it did as well.
I will add it to the pile of things I am sorry for.
No, I'm apologizing. That was an apology.
Kiyomi is also Canadian. She has to apologize.
It's in
She was
nature.
from
It's just
Japan.
nature.
Like I'll do whatever duty you guys want to do. It's fine. I'll be the tanker healer. It's fine.
Oh no.
Also, as a
Don't
side
at me like that,
note,
Matt.
as a side note, Will, I did actually unofficially meet the Newfie, and I love her.
I thought you would.
She's great.
Well, I think that answered most of Avi's questions, so we'll assume that like the time goes by, and I think they're still probably having their little study sessions. Avi makes good on it when she said in last session where she said, we could just do this in real life. We don't have to play pretend like this. Like she makes good on that promise and makes sure that they have like their library study sessions and still exchange fun, interesting things with one another and keep everything interesting.
Hey,
I
stop
will
it!
say at one point, one thing you probably have to step in and deal with is Kiyomi at one point gives it into their mind a fresh start, fresh haircut, and they give themselves some very inadvisable bangs.
Ooh. Girl, we all been there.
And I don't know, you have to turn it into like a pixie cut to salvage it or something. I don't know.
They look great.
You're lying.
Yeah, lying. They look
It
great.
looks
It looks okay. It looks. Oh my god, not the
It's right before the Charlotte wedding.
Oh no.
It's right before the Charlotte wedding. Iro walks in. Wow, you look like shit.
Okay, we'll fix it.
I have to rewrite the world.
I think it's probably a situation that needs like a wish casting to properly fix it.
Holy.
A haircut that bad, you need to break reality.
Oh my god.
But Avi
correct.
does it. Anything for.
But in a
for
polite
Kiyomi.
way.
No, I think Kiara. I think Kiara with a shortcut pixie cut would look incredible.
Well, I'm sure she'd look incredible in any haircut, but I'm gonna
Not
give
that
her a fresh start. And maybe
Says
she
the
could go to a professional.
Says
Well,
the
take her
glowing
to-
like astral projection of Ophelia or one of the three.
Oh yeah, I think we've put out like a multi-dimensional magical Zoom call to be like, Ophelia, what do we do? Like this is an S-tier emergency.
Prestidigitation.
That's not how that spell works, Kiyomi yells.
I'll be there within the week.
Good. Okay, we're
I don't
good.
know
We
if
got
she'll
it.
make it that long, Ophelia.
I'm a monster.
No, you're just
Again.
French.
What? She's Tian.
But I think she probably does invite Kiyomi to do this this library thing with her, and she just makes sure that all of the information is accessible. Like, she doesn't want to make it a financial burden for people to be able to access this information. But it is a matter of skill. Like, you do have to do a certain amount of magic. And I think, unfortunately, it's also a lot of data entry, because she insists on not removing material from existing libraries unless there are already multiple copies.
Well, it turns out that, also by the way, Kiyomi's actual class is Bard.
Oh.
Oh. I would make sense as a storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
Also very good at doing like illuminated manuscripts, oddly enough. So, yeah.
Nice.
So the Nexus Library project proceeds.
Interesting. And then the last thing is, at some point when she finally has a moment to breathe, I don't know how many decades that will be, but she makes a point to make good on the other aspirations that she had had before Kiara left, which was, at some point we are going to go to Osaibu. And at some point, I think she's like,
You're not gonna believe what I found while you were gone. Oh, Saibu. And we have a permanent invitation to go back, and I can bring a friend if I want to.
Go ahead, Will.
Like McKenna, that technically triggers the curse.
does it?
Yeah.
I thought we were able to talk about it now. As a
No.
part of like a then I'll find a different way to do it. I misunderstood.
We're gonna
I
go
thought we were
to
able to talk about it.
we're gonna go to
She has to do it in a more creative way then, which is like,
Do you happen to remember what we were studying before you
Actually,
left?
give me an Arcana check real quick.
Uh-oh.
46.
You figure out a funny little loophole. You
You
pull Kiyomi into your commune space, which is technically a sliver of a different plane
Mm-hmm.
where the curse can't reach you.
I'm sorry. I thought that they had made a deal with the Magambia that we had been able to like do.
I don't remember at this point.
That's a-okay. But I'm glad we have this loophole. Uh but regardless, she offers Kiyomi, like, do you want to go back and we can study this? There's a hole in the ground with all sorts of crazy stuff coming out of it, and we never solved that. So
She seems delighted at the idea.
fantastic.
Did never solve the fear hole.
We're gonna solve the fear hole.
Get in the fear hole.
Yeah. No.
What's that comedy sketch about someone's just got a portal to hell in their floor and their thing? They just keep... I can't remember.
I don't know, but I've written a short horror film
do not
about
know.
that.
Well,
What do you think about
this is more of a
these two women who essentially have a portal in the back where it's just a hole that it starts with them like measuring it out, and they're like, "Yep, another 3 centimeters today," where it's getting larger by centimeters.
Well, does anyone else have any other final unfinished business?
I have a book. I need to deal with.
Well, what does deal with mean?
That's a great question. I think on a particular excursion, not that she's not forthcoming with Mercedes, but when it comes to things of a more darker nature of the occult, we tread very lightly on glass overall. So I think a lot of it is just like I need to finalize some deals overall with something that's been eating on me for the last year or so. So we wander out back to the spot in which we met Charlotte in the old architectural area. Down in the spot where Charlotte was kept for many, many years. And it's a book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Charlotte takes out the grimoire, having read it from cover to cover, translated it, knows some of it, but not all of it. It's still got secrets, and sets it down in this tomb, and then just kind of sits there and waits. I've got Webley with me, by the way. Webley's always useful.
Webley,
And,
who throughout the years has needed a few patch-ups here and there, but still intact. But to be loved is to be changed.
Yes, he's still delightfully nice and squishy. Squish, squish.
Mhm.
And also I feel like Charlotte would have made another little Webley of the purple variety
Oh,
that stays with Mercedes, and that's how they commune with each other to make sure each other is okay. Because that's just what my little romantic brain put into play. But I think Charlotte just like puts the book down and just kind of like sits there and goes, I spent the better quarter of my life searching for the secrets behind the 3. You have given me gifts. I have understood. But I worry about my future if I should continue to follow the lines in which are important. I just need to know that if I let go, it'll be worth it. There's darkness in this book that I cannot risk my fiance with. And no matter how much I want to discover the things that lurk in the dark, I have to let you stay secret. Please understand.
I would say
It's just like she's not a mage, doesn't have a patron or anything, but she definitely is like, I've seen Avi Avi do this, so maybe I can do it too.
I would say there is kind of a long pause. There's like the silence of a grave, so to speak, here in this ancient, abandoned, forgotten temple. But then, sort of almost, you become in an instant aware of a presence that you realize may have been there for a while, and you kind of look up and you see once again the sort of the three so very tall but so very thin cloaked figures standing before you, and you hear a voice that somehow seems to be coming almost still behind you despite the fact that they're standing in front of you.
That's right. This is a breast.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
they
That's right. This is a breast.
they
Correct.
they
Oh,
they speak in sort of a sing-song, broken way that I'm not going to try and replicate at this point, but they say that because of the service you have done, they are going to be uncharacteristically forthright and honest in this moment.
Hmm.
You were always meant to find this book because you were always meant to be there to provide the book in that moment in Kiyomi's past. Because without the book, without the knife the book provided, she would not have been able to escape that other planar library that she had been, press ganged into. And so, in gratitude for playing a part that needed to be played, they are going to offer you a choice here. You see off to the side, emerging from a kind of half-ruined arched tunnel, a smaller, much more mundane-looking figure in a robe that they are going to now take the book back, so to speak. The mystery cult of the three is to endure. It is to be passed on again and again to those who will follow its teachings. And usually, when the book is given up, the person who gives it up has their memories of everything associated with the book sort of just scrubbed clean. Just those parts. They wouldn't like take important parts of your life or anything. There'd just be weird gaps or something, but in such a way that you weirdly don't question it. It's like a weird sort of internal perception filter. Your mind just slides right off the memory gaps. But because you did such an important role, you fulfilled a purpose that needed to be done and fulfilled, they're going to offer you a choice here. You can keep your memories if you want, and all the kind of dangerous knowledge that you've learned from this book, all the teachings about being stealthy, being able to make poisons, like not the poisons you've learned yourself, but like the dangerous, weird kind of ritualistic poisons you've learned in the book, and the teachings about being able to summon the will to actually kill someone. That's like the three aspects of this. Essentially, it's a religion built around the act of poisonous murder, but it's split into the three parts of it. being stealthy, having and using the poisons, and actually having the will to kill someone. That's what this thing is always represented.
Right.
So it is a choice you get to make in this moment, whether they will kind of, like with a surgeon's precision, slice the memories out of your mind and leave you free from, being shackled to all this, or if you just want to keep the knowledge, which they understand. They are scholars of a sort. They understand that it would be kind of difficult for someone of knowledge and of learning to give up knowledge voluntarily.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to you. It's the least they can do.
I think in honoring the teachings of what I had been fascinated with, the things in the dark and how the methods and just the stuff that I've been studying, I think I will keep the memories of the book with the knowledge in place that I can decide not to utilize it. However, I think for me, knowing was part of the goal. But beyond that, I think passing on that beyond in the occult for the secret cult is just like the knowledge that I learned from this book that many would consider dark and uncowardly and untoward helped me to protect, to defend, and to help people who needed a push. So it may be dark, but my use of it was not. So I would like to keep the knowledge. But I will respectfully pass on your teachings to the next who may use them. For good or evil, I cannot decide that.
Give me a quick perception check. With advantage.
Yeah, there we go. Perception. 45. 45.
All right.
45.
45 is more than enough. They give a nod, acknowledging your decision, and just from sort of the body language, you can kind of tell they're maybe a little pleased with your decision. At this, they would have been happy with either way, but they're kind of glad you chose to hold on to the knowledge. The figure in the cloak approaches, bows, takes possession of the book, and then just sort of like melts into the shadows. And as the three goddesses themselves kind of just like hover backwards, they never seem to walk anywhere. They just sort of like float like Marceline, the vampire queen, all over the place, into the shadows. One of them speaks up and says one last thing. Tell her not the black one. And into the darkness. And those words stick with you for a while. You journey home, get to your shared domicile with Mercedes at this point. You open the door, and Mercedes turns around. She comes out of the bedroom, and she's got like two boxes with like ribbons on them or something. And she says, "Oh, I'm so happy you're back. I need your opinion on something." Someone very very generous, and she blushes for a moment, sent two articles of clothing for me, a green one and a black one. They're both rather lacy. Which one do you think would be better with like my complexion?
Charlotte looks at Mercedes, looks up into the sky. The green one, dear.
Oh, okay. Give me a crafting or perception check.
Oh, Lord, love a duck.
Crafting 52.
As Mercedes goes off, to try on the green one and probably result in a loss of an evening in a way. You just glance at the black one just in case, and boy, yeah, it's lacy and everything, but on closer inspection, a little bit of ice trickles into your stomach. There are very small needles woven into the black one, and just because of who you are, you like, there's something on those needles.
I'm going to take this item and I'm going to casually. I'm going to casually determine what exactly they're trying to poison my girlfriend with, or my fiance with.
Um,
It would be.
Crafting.
yeah.
Yeah. Another crafting, do you think?
Yep.
Ah, no!
You have a hero
Have a
point.
hero
Hero
point.
pointing. Ah, no!
It's all right. This is a poison that it is poisoned, and it's a poison that you actually don't care for, because not only is it a paralytic, it is a neurotoxin. Not only would it cause whoever it's poisoned with to be paralyzed, but it wouldn't necessarily kill them. It would just shred their nerves potentially. So someone would essentially be locked into their own body in great pain and unable to express that pain.
Effective.
Well, I mean, if you hate the person and you don't necessarily want to kill them, you just want to make them suffer, which is why you've
Said
never
such a
tried to.
thing?
Hmm?
Who said such a thing?
There was no name on the box. It was a random gift. But to be fair, you guys, with the announcement of your upcoming nuptials, have received a lot of gifts. And Mercedes, when you ask her, just assumes she lost the card somewhere in the shuffle. Because there's been a lot of gifts.
I'm going to make a point to grab this particular article of clothing, put it in its box, tie it up really tight, and take it back with me next time I go to the school to perhaps have Avi assist me in location of individuals. So therefore I could or could not potentially, I'm not saying it in actuality, but potentially send a nice little gift of a thank you back towards them that may or may not explode in their face. Who can say?
That's a very reasonable thing to take, though. I'm going to ask you to give me a quick will save, though.
I don't know, one of the few things I'm horrible at.
If this was from Igra, I'm gonna shit.
No!
I'm going to say that is a good idea and a good plan to go to the school with all this, but you fail to account for the fact that when you were asking your fiance about where it came from, if it was a card, she was wearing not but the green thing, and your mind just goes blank.
All right, well, it's in my house. I'll remember in the morning. It's there somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I didn't say I was doing that immediately, Matt. I said
Okay.
I would. I'm just putting it away for right now, and I'll remember it in the next day or two.
Awooga.
Every time,
Awooga.
the two of you, every time you tuck her out, you pass out, you wake up, you see her again, you say, "Oh," and then it's a cycle.
Cycle repeats itself.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean,
I will
heavens forbid someone
eventually-
like their fiance. Heavens forbid.
God.
Heavens
Heaven forbid. I will eventually probably follow up.
Yeah.
But that might lead into, I don't know, future shenanigans. Who knows?
It might come up again at the wedding. Who knows?
Since when have we been in the Protea Pavilion?
This whole time,
God
I was
damn it,
waiting
Will.
until the end of, and the whole thing took place in the Protea Pavilion.
Brilliant.
All right. So we're gonna move into the quick. Now that we're done with the actual kind of story wraps up, I assume we're going
Yes.
to move into
Well-
the epilogue. Yep.
Before we move into the epilogue,
Commercial
we're
break.
going to have a quick Commercial break.
is I have something I want to bring up.
Is it the Protea Pavilion?
I sure
No.
hope it's the Protea Pavilion. Back in the Protea Pavilion.
All right, so we move into the meta epilogue of it all, where I do have a few questions. I'm just going to ask you guys about the campaign in general. But one thing I wanted to bring up is a atrophied and cut content, so to speak. And I
Okay.
do apologize for Will. I could have pushed this a little harder, but I had a subplot for Igra this entire time.
Mhm.
You recall ages ago you had someone stalking you to,
Nightmares and the stalking.
Yeah.
and the other giant toad that showed up at one point. My intent
Oh,
was always to have it that Igra has always had two summons, and that you didn't remember one of them, and it resented for you, and it was going to come for you and try and kill you as revenge.
Ah,
Not the Spinel treatment.
Spinel.
Man.
I was, any sort of like,
And now
this-
Igra's in space.
And now
has
we're-
4 extra summon.
We're independent
been
together.
released.
Independent together,
And together
now we fly. See, that I wish I had access to that song for karaoke. That's a good song. But yeah,
I love Independent Together.
Good
It's probably
song.
one of my favorites.
Even-
Also, like
even
other
though
friends.
it heavily involves Pearl, it is a good song.
Listen, I will not tolerate Pearl slander.
Pearl made mistakes, but Pearl is allowed to be a complicated character.
She
I
is.
agree.
They all are. All of them are complicated characters. That's the whole fucking point.
That's the
You live
Best-
long enough, you accumulate a lot of baggage. Some of it is not good.
And the best character of them all is Peridot.
I mean, they're a
People
good
allowed to have
character.
Opinions that are wrong, but it's okay.
You clods.
You Claude.
So what's
Okay.
that bit from Spinell's song, like thousands of years, silently waiting, am I doing this right? I wanted to put that to an image of Garo
like,
in the
that's
afterlife
the-
at one point.
That'd be sad. But that's like the thing. But like, yeah. Anyway, we're all here, Matt.
We are all here now. So, to start off, very general, I want to go around the room here and just ask first, general impressions on the Strength of Thousands adventure path. This is the first adventure path I, as a GM, have ever run, and only the second adventure path I've ever done. I did one with Will beforehand. Suddenly the name is now escaping me.
Age of Ashes.
Ages Ashes, thank you. Which was a very different
Mhm.
campaign. And I just want to
It was
ask
a
you
castle.
guys, I'm gonna pick one of you, and we're gonna go around the room, so to speak. General impressions, and out of 10, how many giant ants would you rate the campaign? I'm not going to start with Will, because Will has done a lot of APs and probably has some very opinions about it all. So I'm going to start with McKenna. And then I'm going to go McKenna, Zozapose, Cosmic Deity, and then finally Tabletop Rolls. So, McKenna.
I fear that this may be a running theme for the first three of us, but I have never played an adventure path before, and I've only ever played one other module. This is technically the first module slash AP that I've finished from start to end. So I don't have a whole lot of other points of comparison. However, I really loved the setting for Strength of Thousands. I thought Magambia, the Milwaukee Expanse, Nontambu were all probably one of the most creative fantasy settings I've ever played in. Like it was very original and very creative, and I mean all of the inspirations were just one more fantastic than the next. Um, if I had a critique, I would say, dear God, I wish there were fewer bugs. I was not expecting so many bugs.
It was the theme.
I understand that that was the final boss, but oh boy.
So many bugs.
There were a lot of bug
Oh.
encounters for sure.
And that did start to feel a little repetitive. And I feel like that might be a greater Pathfinder AP issue where the fights can feel a little repetitive, and also creative problem solving for those fights is not necessarily encouraged.
Would you like to hear a fun fact, McKenna?
Is it a fun fact?
It is a fun fact.
Okay.
Believe it or not, there is a Paizo AP that I have done that has more bug encounters than this one.
That's
Are
not a
they
fun
just
fact.
fans of bugs?
Well, do you remember 5 seconds ago when I asked, "Is this a fun fact?"
It's a fun fact.
It's
Said
fun
yes.
fact.
Kind of fun and
You
fun.
lied to me.
That was not true.
It's
It may be a
Um,
fact. It's not fun.
imagine this. The premise for the
It's
other
just
one
a
is
fact.
Saving Private Ryan. You're Private Ryan,
God.
and the enemy lines you're behind are an army of bugs that want to devour everything.
Of course they are. Of course they are.
Anyway,
Yeah, solid pass for me. But I feel like that speaks to a larger thing. Is this is such a lore rich setting, and I felt like a lot of it was spent with bugs. And I felt like there were a lot of other things that we could have done in this setting. There's a lot of cool stuff. I kind of wish instead of going to Akatar, we had gone to like an additional Milwaukee Expanse location.
Mhm.
As much as I loved the space adventures, and I thought it was like a fun change of pace. I don't know. There were a couple of locations that I was looking forward to exploring. I think the Blood Cove was the biggest one where I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. They didn't use it. Fucking no. I don't.
they didn't use Blood Cove because there's already an entire AP that takes place in Blood Cove by itself.
Okay, Slay.
You get
But-
press ganged onto a pirate ship.
Awesome.
There you go.
Fair enough. Regardless, I just felt like there was more of this very cool setting and more creatures that exist in this that are specific to this very cool setting, and I wish that had been explored a little bit more.
I will admit, I would have loved for us to go to some of the like orcish lands where their entire culture is actually sort of about fighting demons. I think.
Also
Mhm.
another AP
Yeah.
that exists now.
Okay. The lore, I read it over like the course of a summer. I took the Magambia source book with me to the cabin where I have like no internet and no TV, and I just sat and read the whole thing. Magambi is such a great setting. I agree with you wholeheartedly. There's so much rich. They put a lot of work into it.
I
It's
mean,
also a gorgeous book.
I suppose it's not the most fair point of criticism because it would leave a lot of places across the Milwaukee Expanse touched on, but not necessarily explored in depth. Like they would probably want settings for other APs in the same setting in the future, and they wouldn't want this one to go everywhere.
Yeah, but they can still touch on them in this AP without completely demolishing their use for other APs. Like,
That's true.
It's a balancing
Right.
act.
You can build at like different time eras for APs in this area. So I don't think you need to be stayed to like, okay, all of our stuff was within this same time frame. I mean, you could say, hey, maybe you actually talk about uh Osaibu back when Osaibu was like
prime.
at its peak and prime, right? Like that would be it. For yeah.
But
I
yeah,
agree.
no, suffice to say, I think my favorite parts of the campaign were the parts that Matt added. And I've made no secrets of that. And that's not tea, that's not shade at the AP. I like the AP a lot, so I think that is a compliment to Matthew, not a dig.
To be fair, on a couple points, mostly it was characters that I added, not even so much a whole lot of settings.
Yup,
And
and they were good
two,
characters.
it helps that I had good ingredients to work with already. The AP provided the pie. I may have added a little whipped cream.
Ooh, but we love whipped cream.
Whipped cream.
Tastes really nice. Whipped cream.
That's usually my favorite part of the dessert.
So how many giant ants out of 10 would you give the AP? Not including any golden ending stuff.
The vanilla AP with no whipped cream, a solid 8 out of 10 ants.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, moving my screen down. Zosie pose.
Honestly, McKenna, every single thing that you just said, I was like, yep. My thoughts exactly. I loved the setting. I think one of the biggest things for me, I wish we had been pushed to get to know the NPCs a little bit more. I feel like myself, as this was my first time playing Pathfinder ever, and so my first AP. If I had gone back, I would have made more effort to get to know more of those characters and kind of take more advantage of the classes that we were taking and kind of maybe do some like RP with that kind of situation. I feel like we kind of brushed over a lot of the classes that we were taking and a lot of the roles that we were doing for all the extra fees. We were just kind of like busting through it, but if we could go back, I'd probably feature that, I guess, a little bit more.
I feel that might have been my fault a little bit. The fact that it was, in addition to the fact that this was my first AP that I was running, that system was an additional system sort of on it, and there were some points, I'll admit, just for sort of like time and efficiency, they gave you like, oh, here's a chance to do some research stuff. I'm like, this seems like an odd time to be doing this.
Yeah.
We'll add more time to the stream, and sometimes not everyone's here, so I'm just gonna put that to the side and continue with the
And then
actual
the fact
adventure.
that we had people popping in and out of the campaign too, I feel like that made it a little bit difficult for catch up purposes for those classes. So I don't think that was your fault at all. Like you said, that there were some interesting nod backs and interesting places that they put those in the book.
Yeah. I think it might have been helpful if we were students for a little bit longer. I feel like that's like, I don't know. I feel like when you think about magic school campaigns, a lot of the fun stuff that people imagine in their head is when they are students. And that portion of the campaign was very, very short compared to the rest of it.
Yeah.
So I almost wish that we had been students a little bit longer to engage with the other student NPCs.
I kind of agree with that for maybe a different reason in a way. This is going to sound a little weird, and do not take this oddly out of context, because I do sometimes enjoy situations where you are more constrained. Because I feel like if you have to like obey the rules of the school or you'll be expelled, and you have to find ways around the rules, or you have to be sneaky or something, that's where some real fun can occur. Um,
like our
some
beat. Like we could have gone on more adventures to get more beads, but then like they were such a big deal at the start of the campaign, but then they tapered off like a
they
lot.
were they were very conservatively sprinkled throughout the rest of the campaign. Um,
It sort of felt like they gathered the designers and they were like, well, we need some of these to be when they're teachers and some of these to be when they're students. And like 5 out of the 6 developers were like, I'll do the teacher one. And they didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, they were clearly more excited about the fact that this is like a community based on outreach and, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how many
agree.
giant ants out of 10 there?
I would also agree with McKenna about 8 out of 10 giant ants. There
All right.
were there was a lot of slogging through a lot of fights that I feel like there could have been more options to not just have to fight. But I still enjoyed a lot of the mechanics that were in those fights. So yeah, 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Cosmic deity.
So I'm coming at this from I was a little over midway, honestly, of the whole of the Strength of Thousands book, like all the way across. So for me, I didn't get as much of like that aspect of the hey, the student thing. So I can't really comment, although I do really enjoy those kind of games where like Matt, like you said, the constraint is there of like this is a student based sort of game mechanic, and then later on I would say like if you make the last 2 books more teacher oriented and the rest of it student, that would make a lot more sense to me. However, I really did enjoy it because of just like the variety of world that we're going into. You know, we went to the different towns and the NPCs that we did come across, I was like, oh, these are really cool. Um, do I wish there was more dynamic with like the different races? I think I'm in the same component as McKenna is I wish I saw a lot more of the Magambia expansion specific like races as opposed to just consistently like we're dealing with bugs and bugs. Also, there's a undead creature somewhere who is wandering trying to find us still all these years. I'm not sure if that's going to come up again or not, but
I had Disintegrate prepared every
every
day.
single day.
Add that to the wedding list.
Wedding list. Okay.
Bride or groom, or bride or bride.
Bride or bride. I arguably am also in the same boat that I really did enjoy the add-on content, but when it comes to the AP again, I'm coming from a place where I have never really played like an AP or preset storyline. I've only ever played homebrew campaigns.
Oh.
Well, ish.
Bar one that bears no relevance to this channel.
Bar one that bears no relevance to this channel. We made a lot of it off the cuff of our head anyway. So like whatever.
Is that the one that you told me about, McKenna?
Yeah,
yeah.
probably yeah.
Okay.
We did a Mad Mage run with a
the one
totally different group.
the one in which our resident Friday night bard mysteriously went up into space instead because why not? The the thing is like going into it when it was the story dynamic, you could tell right away what was part of the AP because it was very like go here, fight this. Not that that's necessarily bad. I just am also in agreement that I would have really loved to do more of that teaching and scholar based aspect because I didn't get a lot of that playing the game. I would have liked aspects of, hey, you know, in between these two books, we've got a section where we're doing a lot of research, we're doing studies and classes, whether we're teaching them or we're like learning from them.
Mhm.
But
So how many
yeah,
giant ants out of 10?
I gotta say, on the biased end, I'm gonna go with 7 out of 10 for the main, but I feel like it may go up if I had played through the entirety from start to finish, like y'all did.
All right. And last but not least, the founder of the feast, so to speak, tabletop rules themselves.
I need to give context for what I'm about to say.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
I have run the following adventure paths to completion: Age of Ashes, Abomination Vaults, Quest for the Frozen Flame, and I'm now currently
Oh,
running
yeah.
Seasons of Ghost. Yes, you were in Quest for the Frozen Flame, Matt. I know you forgot about it, but I
Well,
wasn't going to interrupt you.
That was a pretty short
And Extinction
AP.
Curse. It was
Wow.
only 3 books. And Extinction Curse. So I've run 5 of the APs. I have played Extinction Curse, Agents of Edgewatch, and Outlaws of Alcansar. So I have about 8 APs under my belt in total. So that is where this opinion is coming from. Here is my general opinion about Paizo APs. Cut out the secondary systems they put into them, and it makes the AP better. Like, cut out the circus management from Extinction Curse, and it makes the Extinction Curse better. You don't get to have as much fun performing the circus shows, but unless everyone's really into that aspect of the game, it turns into like two people being really into it, and then like 4 or 5 people just being like, I roll dice. Let Matt leave their character behind at the castle for Age of Ashes to build the castle and take care of work puppies. Just the baseline things that make life a lot easier. As far as an AP is concerned, Strength of Thousands was very good. It did fall into the trap of being the same enemies over and over again that APs that are themed like this tend to fall into. I am going to say this, as far as APs are concerned, this is the one in PF2 that has had the most same enemies in it.
Mhm.
Like, this one, out of all the ones that I've played and run, has had the most same stuff.
Okay, I'm glad that I was not feeling.
You're totally
Your
validated for
instincts
that.
were right.
Yes,
Like,
you're 100% valid for that. This has been the one that has had the most repeating
Okay,
has
yeah.
had the most repeating enemy types in it. 100% full stop. I think it was one of the better balanced 6-book adventure paths. Like, for Age of Ashes and Extinction Curse and Abomination Vaults. Abomination Vaults is only 3, but still, it feels like 6 because it's only a dungeon crawl. Those ones you have to hyper optimize for, or else you get fucked. Like, this party could not have completed those APs, mathematically speaking.
I feel the need to interject. There were a couple fights in this campaign that probably should have been more challenging, but the creatures came in with like so many abilities. Like, I probably forgot like half a dozen auras on creatures just because so much was happening.
That's fair and valid, Matt.
Well, and also there was at least one fight in particular that should have killed us and didn't because Matt's a generous god.
I
the
gave you
where
the
we
one
prevent a
out.
few
The one out.
encounters.
Though there was an ooze that may not have killed you all, but would have wrecked you guys a lot harder if I had been more careful about its rules.
But in all seriousness, Strength of Thousands AP, very good AP. I give it a 6. I give it a 6 just because of mechanics and because of enemy type things. Like, it was fun, it was great, it was definitely above average. It's by far not my favorite 2nd edition AP. I think book 2 of this really got me going because I really like Quinn Murphy as an author. I think that they are incredibly talented and very good at writing. And book 2 had the least amount of bugs and the most enemy variety in it.
Hee hee hee.
Um, so anything that Quinn writes, I'm always very happy to play. And that was one of the reasons why I was like, oh, we should do the Strength of Thousands AP because Quinn writing it made me happy. Um, to do other thoughts about Strength of Thousands AP, comparing it to other APs and to other adventure paths from Pathfinder 1 and Starfinder, because in Starfinder I ran like 7 different adventure paths. Like I did a lot of those ones too. It is definitely a very solidly written AP. It's definitely one of the better ones. I still think that for second ed right now, probably your best bet, and this one didn't exist when we started, would probably be Seasons of Ghosts.
Ooh.
That one's fun. I'm running that privately right now for some local people, and that one's been a good fun time set in Tian.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I enjoyed Strength of Thousands. I do wish there was more enemy variety, and I wish that they would have tackled more mutual aid stuff throughout. Like it felt very much sometimes like the Strength of Thousands was in fact the strength of us, and then having to make sure everyone else is okay. I really wish there would have been some more like big battle moments than what we had.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's huge. And then when we did have teachers that were helping us, they were like not helpful.
Like imagine
We sort of had to manage them.
imagine like an encounter where like when we were students something big was happening in the city and we needed to help the teachers with some magical ritual to summon spiritual guardians to protect the school or things like that could have been a really cool like set of encounters. Anyway, that's just me hindsighting the AP.
Mhm.
But yeah, like 6, like above average, not like groundbreaking, but to be honest with you, I think the only like groundbreaking AP, like I haven't played anything in PF2 that's been groundbreaking yet, or run anything in PF2 that's been groundbreaking. They've all been solid. Like it's all 6 or 7s. There's nothing like 8 or 9s. I think the only one that might be an 8 or 9 for me if I ever get to run it would be Curtain Call. And that's just because the premise is so interesting because you're playing high level characters, but now you're faced with the most challenging quest you ever have had. And what do you think that is?
Retirement.
Nope. It is creating an opera based on your heroic legacy.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I will say it. That is interesting.
As part of it, you get to write a full performance show, apparently.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But that one just scratches an itch for my brain.
So how many giant ants out of 10?
A 6. You know what? I'll give it 7 because, like, objectively, it is good. It's just like 7 for me is sort of where all of the APs have sit. It's like a solid 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Oh,
So
Matt.
I only have. I feel it. I have 2 other APs to compare to, as well as mentioned Age of Ashes and what is it? Hold on, Mammoth Lords. No.
Quest for the Frozen Flame, but you were Mammoth Lords in it, so
Yes,
good job,
Quest for the
Matt,
Frozen Flame,
remembering
but
that.
That was quite a bit shorter.
Yes.
And didn't have much in the way of extra mechanics other than sort of gathering allies and supplies.
Exploration. But
Yes,
we
that
we
was kind of
largely hand waved it because exploration is a pain to run.
So I don't have a great wealth of things to compare it to, but I would say that the campaign, like the campaign itself, not the GM running it, Will did an excellent job with Age of Ashes. I would say I do like Strength of Thousands more than Age of Ashes, just because I think the setting was better. I think there was just more variety, there was more depth to it.
Also, Age of Ashes was written before the rules for PF2 were set in stone, so there's a lot of fuckery in that because of that.
Mhm.
Um, I'll admit, I did. 2 of the characters that showed up in this campaign were my player characters from Age of Ashes, so
Mhm.
they were Mercedes party members.
Also,
I would.
Matt, obligatory fuck you for countering that Demi-Lich encounter.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's still not as clever as the boss kiting that Abby did in.
Oh my god.
I love that.
That was great.
I still talk about that to people.
No, it's one. Those are the best stories from TTRPGs.
I would give Strength of Thousands. I'm not saying a weak 8, but not a strong 8. Like it's not a 7, but it's on its own watch for an 8.
Mhm.
I really did like it. It has a lot of potential. Honestly, I'd almost want to play it through with a perhaps more experienced DM who has probably a better grasp on the mechanics and everything, and more experience running such a variety of encounters with a variety of creatures with a variety of abilities.
Mhm.
And what class would you play? Because you didn't get to say earlier.
Oof. Oh god, I got the brain rot that I feel
Garl.
like, well, not Garl necessarily, but I feel like I kind of almost wanted to play some kind of tank sort of thing, and I'd almost want to make it maybe sort of a funny character of someone who really shouldn't be at a magic school, but somehow they sort of like tumble their way through all the classes and stuff, and like, yes, magic. I have my magic rock. I think that's just a
Wall.
rock. Crunch.
You need to.
And
you
you
need,
really
you
like
need
cream puffs.
Wallace. Wallace from Date Everything. Wall, wall, wall. That's kind of character.
And you really
I
like
was-
cream puffs.
You really like cream puffs, and you dance really well, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a Mashal joke. Okay.
Yeah. So got it.
I mean, besides, Garl was in this campaign. Two versions of Garl,
we did
in fact.
kill Garl.
Two
I mean-
versions. What was the first?
Well, no, there's the version before the painful regeneration into the next iteration of Garl. She has
Okay.
to find her beloved and then explode.
Boom.
That's the curse. She's cursed to continually search for the woman she loves, and then when she finds her, she's supposed to explode and kill both of them.
That old chestnut.
Have you discussed that with Abby?
No, but I wrote a very long short story sort of about it. Well, actually, Garl's a stealth protagonist in that story. She doesn't really become a protagonist till the end of the first book, practically.
Which Garl are we on, Matt?
Who the hell even knows anymore?
And well, okay, wait.
Unrelated, but I have
I think we're on.
the
This is
last.
number. That
the
would be
last
number 8.
Strawberry.
Ooh, that's a
It
caked
does-
up strawberry.
It is. Just imagine a little +3 right here.
Chomp.
We'll
Chomp
fix
away.
it. We'll
I
fix it in
will.
post.
Matthew,
Fix it in post.
Yes.
I think that with the shark Garl, that brings it up to 8, which means that you are now legally obligated to, when the Necromancer class comes out, make Garl the 9th.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Hold on. What? Hold on. Just quick round table question. This is probably just going to be for Will and McKenna. What class is Gideon?
Barbarian.
Barbarian.
Well, fighter.
I don't because like I feel like she's some flavor of fighter because she's not just a berserker. She just doesn't run in there and hack and slash and everything. She does think about the fights. She's actually like a very clever combatant. She's not like roguish trickster and does like flourishes and
No.
shit, but
I think you could argue for Battle Master Fighter if it was 5e. I don't know what the equivalent would be for Pathfinder.
There's a entire power attacking two-handed greatsword build that I think would
Yeah,
fit
but I
Gideon
feel
really
like-
well.
Gideon is just forced to have with little to no expertise in rapier.
it's a suboptimal build, but damn, she's gonna make it work.
I mean, you
I'll
can power.
do it
you,
anyway.
you can power attack with a rapier now, so
Which arguably didn't fool anyone, no matter how much they tried. She just couldn't fool anyone. But also, she wasn't alone. To be fair, there was several. It's like
I-
you are not a rapier person, are you?
I do have one more thing to mention about this adventure path for our
Sure.
audience and for the three of you, for Zoe, McKenna, and for Sarah. So, by playing through this adventure path, Matt and I have sanctioned it. So that because it is a adventure path that has Pathfinder Society sanctioning, Matt and I are going to report this AP with all of us as players and Matt GMing, which will also bring Matt up to their first glyph for Pathfinder Society. So give Matt a round of applause for officially becoming a 1 glyph.
I've tumbled my way into being an official DM.
At tables that you play at now, Matt, you will have an additional hero point at the start that you can keep for yourself or give to someone else.
Way too much power.
Hooray!
In addition to that, though, it does mean that the three of you, because I've already applied these, I already know who I'm applying these to, and it's going on to my mermaid. But the three of you are going to get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a 7th level Pathfinder Society character.
Oh wow.
Which
Just
usually would take
boom.
21 sessions to achieve.
Granted, this one took 100 something,
Yeah.
but
Let's see, we're on episode. We don't have the episode number.
we don't have the episode number on this one. Just go back
It's
to the last
169. Haha, funny.
It's question mark, question mark.
question mark. It's the epilogue.
Funny.
But as we draw to the close of our final episode, I do have one little surprise, a little treat for all of you. Now, there is going to be an extended period before this becomes relevant, and it's extremely bare bones at the moment. Only one of the things actually works at the moment, but I am creating a little companion to the proposed Art Deco campaign, whichever form that takes. So I am going to just throw this here and in Twitch chat.
Oh.
Wow.
So,
Actually,
the progression and characters tabs don't do anything right now. Obviously, because the progression thing I'm saving for a surprise and characters are not finalized yet. But the setting thing will take you to a playlist of my lore videos for the Art Deco setting, which is technically, they're agnostic. They technically could work for any RPG system. It's not Pathfinder necessarily tied to.
look at that. I can bring it up on stream so chat can see what it looks like without clicking the link.
I'm very excited to. I personally am very excited to bring the character I've got to the forefront. I'm gonna have to go more in depth into the dialect for sure to get a feel for it, but
Same. Can
I have
you wrangle a preview of your next character?
I can certainly try, everybody. I'll be right back.
Here, I'll
Okay.
vamp. Look, in honor of the last session, I did Batwing eyeliner.
I do have a list of Art Deco appropriate era kind of like slang somewhere, which I will comb through for things that are
Oh.
inappropriate.
And please send it our way because I really need to work on my
Some of
dialect
them
for that one as
are
well.
wild. Like, what?
Oh, there's the next one. Now, Sarah, the
So,
question is, are you going to be playing a cat folk or an awakened cat? Because the awakened animal does exist, so you could just play Teddy as Teddy with human intelligence.
Stab people in the shins.
Oh, Teddy.
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna go over well.
Little ear twitch.
Oh.
Yeah, so for anybody who's curious, here's a little preview of the Follies of Novosarum, one of the characters. You're gonna see a little cat folk based off of this little criminal.
The best way to describe the concept that I'm working with now, because if we do jump into Daggerheart, I do have to change myself a little bit. So the concept that I'm now working with as the character is excess. That's the theme for her.
Are you stealing my wizard for the next 5e campaign?
No.
Okay.
Interesting. Excess.
Mm-hmm.
But enough about hypothetical future campaigns. It's going to be a little while before that one.
Yes.
I think our dear Tabletop Rolls has some interesting things in the interim. But
Giving
that
Matt
will
a
be
break.
revealed.
Mm-hmm.
I,
And also giving me some time to do the character art.
Yeah, that
to be
too.
fair,
Because I haven't started yet.
I mean, we haven't
That's
finalized the
fair.
characters yet.
No, we've
Um,
not.
So
I would also, I spent more time than I'd like to admit just making this little page. I wanted to do this cool thing where rather than the bars on the side, there would be a playing card that once you put your mouse over them, it just flipped the card over to reveal what they were. But I couldn't get the CSS and HTML to work.
mhm.
It was very weird, and I haven't technically worked in any of web stuff in a long time. I haven't updated my demo reel website in a long time. So I'm like, how do I do a rollover again? How does that work? So
So chat.
anyway,
If you want to take a look at some of the lore videos for Matt's upcoming setting, go and check out the playlist linked below. If you're watching this on YouTube, go and check out Matt's channel, which will be linked in the description so that you can go and look at their Fate videos and these lore videos.
technically speaking, all of the lore videos are narrated by Mercedes, technically, because I used my
Yeah.
VTuber model.
Yep.
Get
And
some extra Mercedes goodness in case you're having withdrawals.
Possibly having stolen. Hold on, let me check. Did the model for these? Yes. No. I thought I was wearing some very noticeable round glasses, but I didn't actually give them for this.
and then chat, just keep an eye on our socials this week. To just determine whether or not we will have a session next week. We might take a week off to just breathe after finishing the Strength of Thousands AP. But otherwise, after that, I think it was decided that we were going to do a short Daggerheart run as a means of
Potentially.
testing out basically the system for ourselves, just in a one-off setting. That I will be running us through just because I want to give Matt a little bit of a break, and I do not need to know what rest is.
We can take a week off if you want some time
It's
to
up
put it-
to it's up to y'all. I'm pretty much good to go for it already, so I just have to finish reading the rule book again, but it's a chunky rule book.
It is chunky.
It's a chunky rule book, and I will say this now. Do you know what we desperately need as like a hobby? We need audiobook versions of the handbooks.
The books.
Yeah.
That's so droll.
We need
But also-
audiobook versions of
We
the
need to find
handbooks.
someone with just like the best voice to just read.
Matt
just get-
Mercer.
Get Sarah to do it. Get Rose. Get Rose to do audiobook
No.
versions of our characters for it, of the books for it. I would love that. Get Sarah to do it. Get Zoe to do it. Get
Rules.
I'll
all
do
of
it.
us. Get
Damn.
McKenna to do it. Get Maya to do it. Get Matt
Like
to do it.
We're founding a
Yeah.
studio.
We each do a section. You know,
Yes.
somebody does
Yeah.
characters, somebody's basic rules, somebody does classes. Simple.
Exactly.
We're founding a studio to read rule books with voices.
I feel like if we wouldn't be able to do D&D because I know for a fact Watsy wouldn't want to be that accessible. But imagine I feel like that is a thing that some people could do and it would actually pan out pretty well. Anyway, that's just me. Chat, if you think that audiobook versions of players' handbooks with sort of chapters that are labeled so you're able to find things quickly and hear the rules said would be a good idea, let us know. And otherwise, we will either see you next week or the week after. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you for joining us for Strength of Thousands.
Mwah.
Woo!
Mwah.